So it's not about pink ribbons. It's not about 5K races. It's not about the month of October. It's about a disease. It's about a disease that will take the lives of approximately 40,000 people in this country this year alone. Breast cancer touched my life in 1987 when my mom was diagnosed for the first time. I became what was then known as the high risk patient. And for the next 19 years, I looked over my shoulder, waiting for breast cancer to come tapping on my door. I hoped that the research would catch the breast cancer before the breast cancer caught me, but I was not so fortunate. In July of 2006, I was diagnosed with an invasive breast cancer, and in that moment, my life was forever changed. What began in 1987 as a small little building block turned into a boulder when I listened to a surgeon tell me, "You have cancer." However, nothing impacted me more and nothing touched me more deeply than shortly after my diagnosis having a conversation with my then 21-year-old daughter who wanted to know, what does this mean for me, Mom? And in that moment, I knew I need to do something that's going to make a difference. I needed to change the face of this. I needed to raise awareness in different ways. I needed to let people know awareness is great, early detection is great, but we need to shift the awareness over to something different. I'm a survivor. I'm not cured. There is presently no cure for breast cancer. People use those words interchangeably, and they're not interchangeable words. The other thing that is a little bit troubling is to hear, well, at least you got a good cancer. There is no such thing as a good cancer. No cancer is a good cancer. Breast cancer sucks. Just sucks less than others because we have a better rate of survivorship. Another thing that I always love to hear is, well, at least you got a boob job out of the deal. If someone needs to liken making a choice to have a bilateral mastectomy to surgery, I might suggest that a better choice to compare it to would be an amputation where permanent prosthetic devices are placed inside your body. It's not breast augmentation by no stretch of the imagination. Not breast augmentation. I needed to feel like if those things were addressed, that perhaps we might be able to change the perceptions of breast cancer. We might be able to make a difference. If people stopped thinking of mastectomies as boob jobs and breast cancer as no big deal. At some point, I decided to join the Army of Women. It would have been probably about 2 years ago. And most recently, I decided to take on a more active role within the Army. I believe in everything that's going on with new research, with research that's going to take us beyond detection, beyond the chemotherapy drugs that we know work, and into a new avenue, into the avenue where we can cure breast cancer, where we can ultimately prevent breast cancer. Dr. Susan Love is attempting to amass an army of 1 million women. For the life of me, I do not understand why we can't and don't have 10 million already signed on. The only thing that comes to my mind is that perhaps people have a misconception about what it means to join the Army and what the Army is all about. So, I'm going to take a second to explain. The Army is about amassing women so that the folks that are doing the research on this side can reach the women on this side that they're trying to help when they do this research. Dr. Love is the bridge in between the two. She needs to have a pool of women that she can email, e-blast as she says, when she finds a research study that she believes could change the face of breast cancer. The goal being fill the studies quickly. The quicker we fill the studies, the quicker we can determine what works, what doesn't work. The fact of the matter is these researchers are doing cutting edge things to try to understand environmental factors, working factors, family history. They're culling together everything that's out there to try to find a way to say, hey, this is playing a part, this is playing a part, and once they determine all of the pieces that are playing parts, we can start moving towards a cure. Dr. Love is merely a bridge. She's a bridge between the research community and the women that the researchers are trying to help. Right now, there are about 360,000 women enrolled in the Army. If you can wear a pink pin, if you can put on a pink piece of jewelry, if you can walk in a 5K or a 3-day, you can certainly take the 2 minutes that it requires to go to thearmyofwomen.org and enroll. Enrolling in the Army, volunteering in the Army is not obligating you to anything. It's kind of a passive thing. All you're doing is providing very basic information so that when a study becomes open that Dr. Love feels can make a difference, she has a pool of women to send information to. How else would we get this information? The poor researchers, the only way they could potentially fill their studies is by walking out of their labs and trying to yank women off the streets. That's clearly not going to work. So the best thing to do is to find interested women, women that are looking to see this change, women that are willing to provide Dr. Love with their name, their age, where they live, their ethnicity, and their email address. And that is it. Your health information is not compromised. Your identification is not compromised. You are not under any obligation to join in any study. The thing is to get the word out. This group of researchers is doing this study and needs this amount of women. If you go to the armyofwomen.org page and scroll through some of the studies that have been filled and some of the studies that are still open, you will see that these studies are very much different from anything else that's out there. They're trying to find out-of-the-box ways to put an end to this, to eradicate this. The day is coming. I don't want to be a survivor. I want to be cured. I don't want my daughter to have to look over her shoulder and think, is the research going to get the cancer before the cancer gets me? That's unacceptable. We can be part of a revolution that changes everything. We can be part of the generation that finds the cure for breast cancer. We can be the face of the change. We can be the group that ultimately finds a way to prevent breast cancer, to prevent our sisters, our daughters, our friends, everyone